So we have to think about the budget that is to be coming up on the
26th of November.
So 26th November, key date for the budget announcement. Rachel Reeves has got to fill in. Well, what's the country debt position at the minute? People are predicting.
So right now it's estimated at somewhere in the region of 75 to 85 billion. Yep, you heard that number right. Billion. That's huge.
And it's only increasing. It's not decreasing over what taxes have been collected so far. And as we know, there's no real growth, which Rachel Reeves was saying. We're going to fill this gap because of the growth that we're going to bring to this country. And it looks like whatever Rachel Reeves has done, politically, whatever your bias is, the facts remain that we're potentially going down, not up, into GDP. So the next question is, some of the analysts are saying that we've got to now increase taxes and fill a gap of what numbers was it?
Oh, just a small amount. So more or less 20 billion.
20 billion. So we've got to fill the gap between that. And when we was looking at the numbers before this recording, we was talking about income tax, which is about 33% of all taxes raised. What other taxes are being collected and what kind of percentages are we looking at from those?
So 35%-ish of income tax, as Simon says. Then below that is probably about 20% national insurance, more or less 20% on VAT. And then you're looking at corporation tax, possibly about 10%, and it starts to go down from there. So the biggies, income tax, VAT, national insurance, and corporation tax. So with the big question, is Rachel going to stick or twist on any one or all of those taxes?
Now, we don't know, and we're definitely not going to be one of those channels that gives such great predictions and what you need to do about those. That's a dangerous thing. If you're watching any YouTube video right now or a TikTok and they're explaining how you should mitigate this new tax change, which they have no idea on. I remember when capital gains tax was meant to be income tax. You remember that? And it never happened. And yet people were planning around that kind of tax change. So we shouldn't do that. What we should do is look at, well, where can these taxes change? Personal allowance on income tax. I mean, it's been frozen at 12,570 for some time. It's been predicted that it's going to freeze for the next foreseeable future. Realistically, could you go break that number and say, well, personal allowance is going to be reduced?
Anything is up for grabs right now, and I don't think you can assume that the answer would be another stick. I do wonder whether it could be a twist, and a twist in the way that Simon's described, down, not up.
We've got to think about the other allowances as well. So there is a £5,000 interest savings allowance if you earn less than £17,000, 270. Plus you've got the interest, £1,000 tax-free allowance of 1,000 plus 500. Then you've got ISAs, which you could look at. All those potentially could be looked at from an income tax. So predictably, I think there's got to be a change on income tax. One of the things that we could be looking at potentially is taxing the wealth. So bringing a wealth tax, which could be a huge number, but then I think there's so many billionaires leaving the UK. If Rachel Reeves does that, I rather think there'll be a huge exodus, and then we're going to be left with pretty broke people. What about the aspect of bringing in a new income tax band, whether it's a 50% tax band or the super wealthy earning maybe 250,000 above? Do you think that could be a thing?
I wouldn't be surprised if something is looked at around the wealth or wealthy area of the economy to try and help mitigate some of these big tax burdens. I also wonder if there could be something done just to tie it together with corporation tax. As you know, corporation tax currently is a two-tier system based on how much gross profit is being made. I wonder whether there could be another banding brought in for that as well. So not only on the income tax side, but perhaps on corporation tax as well.
Well, I maybe go further than that potentially. That's the whole idea of having a 19% tax band up to £50,000. Maybe scrapped. It may be just a flat 25%. Now, that would be a disaster. But if you think about it, most big businesses in the UK will be paying 25% anyway. So how many people is it going to really affect? So that's potentially an option. One thing I did pick up on is inheritance tax. Inheritance tax is less than 1% of all receipts, but we do know that that's going to change from 2027 when pensions is going to be forming part of your estate. Now, the numbers are talking about it's currently around about 8 billion, but when these changes come through, we could be looking at anything between 12 and 15 billion, so doubling up. But it's still, that's still 8 billion out of the 20 to 30 billion that's got to be filled. So that's a huge gap that's going to be filled in any way, but that's 27 and onwards. So it's not really fitting the issue of the deficit now. But I don't think she's going to do anything extra on inheritance tax, but you never know. We've got so many questions. When is our webinar? What can people do to get onto that webinar?
Please join us. We're going to be running the webinar live on the 26th of November, Budget D-Day. We're going to be monitoring what Rachel is saying, what her detail is around all the different taxes. So you need to be with us. We will talk through all of the scenarios as she describes what she's going to do and the implications for you guys. And we'll also share some of the solutions and plans you can put in place to help mitigate the changes that are happening live on that day.
So it's fair to say we'll have a full list of all the things that's going to be happening with your tax money. And we'll be taking a lot of questions and answers, which Louise will be answering.